Hey Reddit. I never thought I would be posting something like this, but I honestly don't know what to do. I feel completely lost and just need some advice. I'll try to keep it short, but there's a lot of context here. I've been married to my wife, Emily, 31, for 8 years. We have 2 young kids together, and on the outside, everything looked great. We've had our ups and downs, but who doesn't? Nothing about our relationship stood out as problematic, at least, that's what I thought. About a month ago, I started to notice that Emily was acting strangely. She'd been distant, spending more time on her phone and less time with me. I tried to initiate conversations, but she would give short answers, barely looking up from whatever she was doing. She also started going out more, something I didn't mind at first. She said she was meeting up with friends, or that she needed some me time. As a father of 2 young kids, I totally get the need for a break, but the changes felt off. What really threw me off was when she started deleting texts on her phone. I'm not the type to snoop, but there was one day where I caught her quickly closing her messaging app when I walked into the room. I thought I was imagining things, but the more I noticed little things like that, the more I started feeling uneasy. I didn't confront her right away. I didn't want to jump to conclusions without knowing for sure what was going on. But it was hard to ignore the feeling that something wasn't right. So, I started paying closer attention. A couple of weeks ago, I found myself at a breaking point. I had been thinking about this nonstop, and one night, Emily went out for one of her girls' nights, which, as usual, was a last-minute thing. I had been texting her to see what time she'd be home, but she was responding slowly, almost too slowly. When she finally texted me back, she said she was having a great time and that she'd be home late. Something about her response felt off. I didn't know why, but I was hit with an instinctual need to know exactly where she was. I know this sounds crazy, but I'd installed a family tracking app on both of our phones months ago, mostly to keep track of the kids, but I never really used it for anything else. That night, I opened the app just to see where Emily was. I immediately regretted it as soon as I saw her location. She was at a bar, but not just any bar. This was a spot across town, one I knew she never went to. In fact, I'd never even heard her mention it. I clicked on the location to zoom in, and I saw that it was a more secluded place, tucked away in an area that was known for being less crowded and more private. Something about it didn't sit right. So, I decided to drive by. I drove to the bar, my heart pounding the entire way. The streets felt darker, lonelier, the farther I got. When I arrived, I parked a little down the street and waited. I tried not to let the anxiety take over, but it was impossible. What was I even expecting to find? I wasn't sure, but I needed answers. I watched from my car for about 20 minutes. Then, just as I was about to give up, I saw her. Emily walked out of the bar with a man I didn't recognize. They were laughing together, standing very close, almost too close. I felt a sickening knot in my stomach as I watched them. The way they interacted, the ease with which they spoke to each other, it was intimate. Too intimate for it to be a casual friendship. I felt my whole body go cold. The man put his arm around her, and she leaned into him as they walked toward his car. I stayed frozen in my car, watching them drive off together. It was clear they weren't just friends. I don't know why I waited as long as I did to call her, but I finally did. I tried to stay calm, but my voice betrayed me. "Emily," I said when she picked up. "Where are you?" There was a long pause, and then she answered, her voice slightly shaky. "I'm just on my way home." "Sorry, I got caught up talking to a friend." "A friend?" I asked, trying not to sound accusatory. "What friend, exactly?" There was another pause. Just someone I met tonight." "It's nothing, really. Just a casual conversation." I couldn't hold it in any longer. "Emily, I saw you. I saw you with him. And you didn't just talk to him. You were with him." Silence on the other end. "Who is he?" I asked, feeling the weight of every word. "Why were you with him? Why did you lie to me?" Her response was not what I expected. I don't know what to say," she said quietly. "It wasn't supposed to happen. I've been seeing him for a while." That was when everything hit me, the lie, the betrayal. All of it. I don't know how I got through the rest of that phone call, but I finally told her I needed to see her when she got home. I needed answers. I wasn't ready for a confrontation yet, but I couldn't just let this go. The realization that she had been seeing someone else, hiding it from me for so long, felt like a punch to the gut. Now, I don't know what to do. She came home, and we had the most difficult conversation of our lives. She admitted to everything. She told me about the affair with this man, someone she had met through work. She said she was sorry, but the damage was done. She tried to explain that things in our relationship hadn't been the same, and she had felt neglected. She claimed she never meant for things to escalate, but it had, and now we were here. I don't know what to do next. I feel like my entire world has been shattered, and I can't figure out if this is something we can move past. Can I forgive her? Can we rebuild what we once had? Or is this the end of our marriage? The night Emily came home after I confronted her on the phone was the longest night of my life. I couldn't think straight. I kept replaying everything in my mind, the laughter, the way she leaned into him, the way she walked off with him like it was nothing. I didn't know who to be angrier at, her for betraying me or myself for not noticing the signs earlier. I couldn't bring myself to even look at her when she walked through the door. My heart was pounding, my chest tight, and the room felt like it was closing in on me. She came into the living room, and we just stared at each other in silence for a few moments. I could tell she was anxious, her eyes searching my face for any sign of what I was going to do next. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out at first. The awkwardness was unbearable. Finally, I broke the silence. "Who is he?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "And why did you lie to me? Why did you do this?" She took a shaky breath, and for the first time, I saw the guilt and fear in her eyes. "His name is Tyler," she said quietly. "I met him through work a few months ago. It started as innocent, just talking, you know? But then, I don't know. I just got caught up in it." She wiped away a tear before continuing, "I didn't mean for it to happen. I really didn't. But I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Caught up in it?" I repeated, trying to keep my emotions in check. How do you get caught up in something like this? How do you go from talking to him to getting into his car and spending the night with him? And don't say you didn't mean for it to happen. That's not an excuse for what you've done, Emily. I could feel the anger bubbling up inside me, but I didn't want to let it consume me. I needed answers, not a fight. "I've been feeling disconnected," she said, her voice barely audible. "For months. Things haven't been great between us, and I don't know how to explain it. You've been working a lot, and I was trying to juggle everything, the kids, work, house stuff, and I just felt alone. Tyler, he made me feel seen. He made me feel like I mattered. And before I knew it, it had turned into something more. Something I couldn't control." Her words felt like a punch to the gut. She was admitting everything, and yet it still didn't feel real. I had never expected her to say that, to lay out the truth in front of me like this. I felt like I was looking at a different person entirely. "You felt alone?" I repeated, this time my voice rising. "You didn't think that maybe you should have talked to me? Or did you just think it was easier to lie to me and sneak around behind my back?" "I should have," she said softly. "I should have come to you, but I didn't know how to. I was scared that you wouldn't understand, that you'd be disappointed. I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't thinking about what I was throwing away. I just wanted someone to make me feel good again. And I can't believe I did this to you. I've ruined everything, and I hate myself for it." I felt the tears welling up in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I couldn't cry in front of her, not yet. I needed to be strong, even if everything inside me felt like it was falling apart. "You ruined everything," I said, shaking my head. "I trusted you, Emily. I gave you everything. And you just threw it all away." "I didn't want to hurt you," she said, tears streaming down her face now. "I never wanted to hurt you. And I know it doesn't make it better, but I never slept with him. It was just everything else. It was emotional, it was intimate, but it wasn't physical. Not like that. I'm not defending it. I'm just telling you the truth." I couldn't process what she was saying. It didn't matter whether it was physical or emotional. It was still a betrayal. The trust one thought we had, the bond one thought was unbreakable, was shattered. And nothing could change that. "I don't know what to do, Emily," I said, my voice breaking. "I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if I want to even try. How do I come back from this?" Her face crumpled as she collapsed onto the couch beside me, reaching for my hand. "Please, don't give up on me. I'm willing to do anything to make this right. I'll do whatever it takes to fix what I've broken. Please, just give me a chance. I don't want to lose you." The night dragged on, and by the time it was over, I felt like I had been through a war. My mind was a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. I loved her, I still loved her, but I didn't know if I could ever look at her the same way. The way she lied to me, the way she betrayed me, it felt like I was living in a nightmare. I knew I needed space. I needed time to think, time to process everything, but I also knew that nothing would ever be the same. I couldn't just pretend like I hadn't seen the truth. I couldn't pretend that what she did didn't affect me. But what did that mean for us? What did that mean for our family? "I can't make any decisions right now," I said finally, my voice hoarse. I need time to think. I need time to figure out if we can fix this, or if we're too broken to continue. She nodded, understanding the gravity of what I was saying. Take all the time you need. I'll wait for you. I'll do anything to prove that I can be the woman you need. I didn't know if I believed her. I didn't know if I ever would. But at that moment, I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't rush this decision. I'm still struggling with the aftermath. I don't know what the future holds for me and Emily. We've been living in this emotional limbo for days now, and I still don't know if I can ever forgive her. I'm not sure if our marriage is worth fighting for, or if it's too far gone. I'm trying to keep it together for the sake of our kids, but it's hard. I keep replaying everything in my head, the lies, the betrayal, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to move past it. I feel like I'm stuck between what I want and what I know is best for me. Reddit, what should I do? Should I try to forgive her and work through this, or is this the end? Can a marriage survive something like this, or should I walk away? After the confrontation, I spent the next few days in complete turmoil. My mind was constantly racing. I kept thinking about Emily's words, her apologies, her tears, but also the guilt I felt for even considering giving her a chance to repair our relationship. Could I really live with this? Could I ever trust her again? And what about our kids? What kind of example was I setting if I let this go unchallenged? I didn't speak to Emily for most of the next day. I needed space, and she understood that. She told me she would give me the time I needed, that she would be patient. But the truth was, I wasn't sure I needed time to think things through. I was already sure about one thing. This had hurt me deeply, and I didn't know if I could ever recover from it. But I couldn't just make a decision based on anger or pain. That wouldn't be fair to anyone. I needed time to really think, not only about whether I wanted to continue this relationship, but also about what was best for our family. Our kids needed stability. They needed both parents, but did they need parents who couldn't trust each other? Could I trust Emily again? And could we rebuild a healthy, honest relationship? In that time, Emily kept her distance but also made her intentions clear. She was working hard on herself, going to therapy, reflecting on her actions, and trying to show me that she was ready to make real changes. I couldn't deny that she was putting in effort, but was it enough? Was it enough to justify staying in a relationship that felt so fundamentally broken? One evening, about 4 days after the confrontation, I had a breakthrough. I was sitting in the living room, scrolling through old photos, trying to remember what it was like when things felt easy between Emily and me. I found a photo of us on a vacation 2 years ago, smiling, carefree, and happy. That version of us didn't exist anymore. But I realized something important. I missed her. I missed the way she used to laugh, the way she used to look at me with so much trust and love. I missed the life we built together, the memories we shared. I wasn't sure if I was just longing for a version of our marriage that no longer existed, or if I truly wanted to rebuild it. But at that moment, I knew that if I was going to give this relationship a second chance, it had to be because I genuinely believed we could rebuild, not just out of a sense of obligation or fear of change. That night, I decided to sit down and talk to Emily. I couldn't keep hiding from the truth. I had to face the fact that I wasn't sure about this marriage anymore, but I wasn't ready to throw it all away either. When Emily and I sat down together, I could see the apprehension in her eyes. She knew how much this was weighing on me, and I knew how much she wanted me to give her a chance. The silence between us was thick with the weight of what had happened. I've been thinking a lot, I began, my voice trembling, though I didn't want to show weakness. And I don't have all the answers. I don't know if I can fully forgive you. I don't know if I can trust you the way I used to. But I also know that I don't want to give up without trying. So here's what I need, Emily. She looked up at me, her eyes wide, waiting for what was to come. I need to see a real, consistent effort from you. I need you to be open. I need you to communicate. And I need you to understand that I can't just forget. It's going to take time. I need you to be patient, and I need you to prove that you're willing to fight for this marriage, day in and day out. She nodded quickly, her face filled with emotion. I will. I'll do whatever it takes. I want to fix this. I want to fix us. I know I've hurt you, and I can't take it back, but I can show you that I'm committed to making things right. Good, I said. But there are no guarantees here, Emily. This isn't going to be easy, and I'm not going to rush through this. If we're going to rebuild, it has to be on a foundation of trust, and that's something we'll have to work on together. The room felt a little lighter after that conversation, but it wasn't the end of the pain. It wasn't the end of the questions. It was just the beginning of the slow and difficult journey of rebuilding what we had. Over the next few weeks, we made an effort to communicate more openly. We spent more time together as a family, trying to find moments of normalcy. Emily kept her promises. She was more transparent, more available, and more open about her emotions. But despite her efforts, I was still struggling. Every time I saw her pick up her phone or spend time away from me, I couldn't help but feel that nagging voice of doubt creeping back in. There were moments where I thought I could trust her again, where I felt hopeful. But then, in the back of my mind, I'd remember the affair, the lies, the way she betrayed me. I couldn't just forget it. I couldn't just pretend like it didn't change everything. A few times, Emily caught me checking her phone, something I promised myself I wouldn't do. But the temptation was just too much. I hated myself for it. It wasn't about controlling her or checking up on her. It was about needing to feel secure again. But even then, the anxiety didn't go away. I had to face the reality that trust wasn't something that could be rebuilt overnight. One evening, Emily asked if I was feeling okay. She could see how distant I was, how much I was holding back. "You've been a little off lately," she said, her voice soft. "Is everything okay? I'm trying to give you space, but I can't help but feel like you're still keeping something from me." I took a deep breath, and for the first time in a while, I let my guard down. "I'm scared, Emily. I don't know if I can get past this. Every time I think we're moving forward, I remember everything, and it feels like we're stuck." She reached out and took my hand. "I understand. I'm not going to rush you. We'll take this one day at a time." That was the moment I realized that maybe we had a chance. But I also knew that it was going to be a long, hard road. There would be moments of doubt, and I would need her to stay patient with me as I worked through the pain. A few weeks have passed since I made the decision to give Emily a chance. Things have been complicated. We're in a strange place right now. There are moments when it feels like we're making progress, and then there are moments when the weight of everything we've been through pulls us right back down. We're still attending therapy, separately and together, and it's been helpful in some ways. But the truth is, no amount of counseling can instantly fix the kind of hurt that comes from betrayal. It feels like we're just getting by some days, and other days, I feel like we're actually growing stronger. The hardest part for me has been accepting that trust takes time, and it doesn't come back all at once. Some days, I wake up thinking maybe I can forgive her and rebuild. But other days, I feel like the wound has been reopened. The affair wasn't just a moment of weakness on her part, it's shaken the very foundation of our relationship. Every time I see her, part of me wonders if I can ever look at her the same way. And if I can't, then what does that mean for us? One evening, we were sitting on the couch, watching TV together. It was a normal night, one of those rare, peaceful moments where things felt like they were almost back to normal. Emily was scrolling through her phone, and I was focused on the show. But then her phone buzzed, and for some reason, I felt this sudden, uncontrollable urge to look. I didn't want to. I hadn't snooped in weeks, but something inside me couldn't help it. Before I even realized it, I had glanced at the screen. It was a message from someone named T. The message read, "I miss you. Hope to see you soon. Let me know when you're free." I don't know why, but my heart sank. The old feelings of insecurity and doubt flooded back. I immediately looked at Emily, and she must have seen the concern on my face because she quickly tried to hide the phone. "What's wrong?" she asked, but I could hear the nervousness in her voice. She knew exactly what I'd seen. "Who's T?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, but I could feel the anger creeping in. I didn't want to accuse her of anything, but the timing of it all just felt wrong. She paused, clearly caught off guard. "It's nothing," she said quickly, but I could tell she was lying. Her reaction wasn't as smooth as I had hoped. "Nothing?" I asked, a little sharper now. "You're still texting people behind my back?" She took a deep breath and set her phone down. "It's a friend from work, someone I've known for a while. He's just been supportive, checking in. I promise it's nothing more than that. Just a friend." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But everything inside me screamed that something wasn't right. The way she reacted, the way she avoided my eyes, it all felt off. "I'm trying, Emily," I said quietly, staring at the floor. "But every time I think we're moving forward, something happens that makes me question everything. How do I move forward if I can't trust you fully?" She stood up and came over to sit next to me. She took my hand in hers, looking at me with genuine concern. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I promise that it's not what you think. I'm committed to us. But I understand why you're upset. I understand that I've lost your trust. I just don't know anymore," I whispered. "I feel like I'm still stuck, like I can't get past it. And now this? Another lie? Another secret?" "I know it looks bad," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "But I swear, I'm trying. I'm not hiding anything from you anymore. You have my word." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But that word, was something that had already been broken. How could I just accept that the next promise wouldn't be broken too? Was I being unreasonable to feel this way? The next day, I couldn't get the T message out of my head. I couldn't stop thinking about it. My mind kept racing, replaying that moment when I saw her phone buzzing. I felt like I had been here before, caught in a cycle of doubt and pain. I hated that I didn't trust her. This wasn't who I was. I wasn't the kind of person who constantly doubted people, but everything had changed. I decided I needed to confront her again. I couldn't live with this nagging feeling that there were more secrets, more lies. I needed to know the full truth, even if it hurt. Emily, I said that afternoon, when we were alone, I'm not okay. I need you to be completely honest with me. I can't keep living like this. I can't keep second-guessing everything you do. I need the truth. She looked at me with a worried expression. What truth, babe? About T, I said. About everything. I don't know if I can trust you anymore, but I need to hear it from you. What's going on? I can't do this if you keep hiding things from me. She looked down for a moment, her fingers fiddling with her necklace. You're right, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. There's more. I didn't want to hurt you again, so I didn't tell you the whole story. T is someone I used to date before we got together. We've kept in touch, but it hasn't been anything inappropriate, I swear. But I should have told you sooner. I should have been upfront about it. I sat back, trying to process what she had said. T was someone from her past. That explained why she was so nervous, why she kept it hidden, but it didn't make the situation any easier. The fact that she hadn't told me about him earlier made it feel like I was once again left in the dark. I didn't know if I could handle hearing that there were more layers to her secrecy. I'm sorry, she repeated. I should have told you. But I swear, it wasn't anything like what you think. I never wanted to hide anything from you, and I never meant to hurt you again. I don't know where we go from here. I'm struggling with this truth, that there are things Emily has hidden from me. The T situation makes me feel like we're still on shaky ground, even after all the work we've done to rebuild our marriage. I don't know if I can ever fully trust her again. I keep wondering if I'm being unreasonable, if I'm reading too much into things. But every time I try to let go of my doubts, another part of me says, no, something isn't right. I don't know if this relationship can survive another betrayal, even if it wasn't as big as the affair. I need advice, Reddit. I've come this far, but I feel like we're still not there. How do I move forward when I feel like there's still so much left unsaid? Can this be fixed, or should I let go? After Emily's confession about T, things felt different between us. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I could tell that she was genuinely remorseful. She kept apologizing, telling me that she had made a mistake by hiding things from me. She even agreed to go back to therapy, both on her own and with me. But, despite her actions, I still couldn't shake the feeling that I was living in a fog of uncertainty. Every time I looked at her, I wondered if she was hiding something else, and that doubt gnawed at me constantly. We had a long conversation the day after her confession. She promised that there was no emotional involvement with T, that she had just kept in touch with him as a way of holding on to a piece of her past. She said she never planned on meeting him again or rekindling any romantic feelings. But the damage had already been done. The fact that she had hidden this from me for so long felt like a betrayal on top of everything else. I tried to keep an open mind. I didn't want to make any rash decisions, especially for the sake of our family. But as much as Emily wanted to rebuild, the question still lingered in my mind. Could I ever fully trust her again? Could we ever get back to the place where we were before all of this? The emotional toll of it all was exhausting, and I started wondering if we were better off apart. A few days after our conversation about T, we had another one of our therapy sessions. I won't lie, I was dreading it. I didn't want to keep reliving the past, but I knew that if we were ever going to move forward, I had to address my doubts. We sat there, both quiet for a while, but then Emily spoke first. I know you're struggling with this, and I'm struggling too, she said, her voice trembling. I know I messed up. I know that I betrayed you, and it hurts me every day knowing that I'm the reason you're feeling this way. But I want you to know, I'm not asking for you to forgive me overnight. I'm asking for the chance to show you, over time, that I can be the partner you deserve. I looked at her, trying to gauge if her words were genuine or just another attempt to appease me. I didn't want to keep doubting her, but I couldn't help it. What does that look like, Emily? What am I supposed to look for? You're telling me you're willing to prove yourself, but how do I know it's not just temporary? How do I know this won't happen again? She paused, then said something that hit me harder than I expected. You don't know, and I don't expect you to. I can't undo what I've done, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild. I can't change the past, but I can change how I show up every day, how I communicate with you, how I show you that I'm worthy of your trust. I'm asking for patience. But more than that, I'm asking for the opportunity to prove it to you, even if it takes years. I felt something stir in me, a small flicker of hope. Maybe she was right. Maybe we could rebuild. Maybe it wouldn't be easy, but the fact that she was willing to fight for this relationship, really fight for it, was the first sign that maybe, just maybe, we could get through this. The following weeks were a roller coaster. We continued therapy, and Emily became more open about her feelings. We began to communicate more, and she showed more affection, something that had been lacking before. She made an effort to show me that she wasn't just going through the motions, that she genuinely wanted to repair the damage she had caused. She did small things, like making more time for us to be together, helping out with the kids more, and being honest about everything, even the little things that had once been hidden. But it wasn't perfect. There were still moments when I caught myself looking at her phone, feeling the temptation to check her messages. There were still moments of doubt when I wondered if I was just being naive, thinking that this was possible. But there were also moments when I could see the woman I married again. The woman who loved me, who had always been there for me, and who was now fighting for us. One night, about a month after the tea incident, we sat down for a quiet dinner, just the two of us. The kids were in bed, and we had finally found a moment to talk without distractions. Emily looked at me with a gentle smile, her eyes full of tenderness. "I know things aren't perfect," she said, "but I'm proud of how far we've come. I know we still have a long road ahead of us, but I believe in us. I believe in you, and I believe in our family. And I'll keep proving that to you every day." I didn't know if I fully believed that we could get back to where we were, but hearing her say that gave me hope. Maybe this was the beginning of something new, a relationship built on honesty, effort, and patience. I couldn't say I'd forgiven her completely, but for the first time in months, I felt like there was a chance. The truth is, I still don't know what the future holds. I'm still healing, and Emily is still working on herself. We've both come a long way, but I'm under no illusion that this is a quick fix. It's not easy. I have good days, and I have bad days. Some days, I wonder if we're just pretending everything is fine, and other days, I feel like we're on the right path. I still have a lot of trust to rebuild, and so does she. But we're trying. And for now, that's enough. Just when I thought we were on the right track, something happened that made me question everything again. It was a Friday night, and Emily had planned a girls' night out with a few friends she hadn't seen in a while. I wasn't thrilled about her going out, but I didn't want to be controlling either. She'd worked hard to show me she was committed to rebuilding our relationship, and I was trying to let go of my insecurities. But that night, something felt different. She'd been texting me throughout the evening, telling me how much fun she was having, but by midnight, I hadn't heard from her in over an hour. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I should relax, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I waited another 30 minutes, then finally, I grabbed my phone and checked her location through the app we still had linked, just like we'd always had. Her location was active. But instead of being at the bar where she had said she was, her location showed her driving toward a neighborhood on the other side of town. I had no idea where she was going, and I had no way of knowing if it was innocent or not. At that moment, my mind went into overdrive. What was happening? Was she with someone else? Was I imagining things? I tried calling her, but it went straight to voicemail. Panic set in. I couldn't just sit there, so I grabbed my coat, got in the car, and drove to the location. My heart was pounding, and every passing second felt like an eternity. When I got there, I saw her car parked outside a small, dimly lit house. There was another car parked next to it, and that's when I saw him. He was standing at the door, waving her goodbye as she stepped into her car. I froze. I didn't know what to do or what to think. Was this a mistake? Or had all the progress we'd made been nothing more than a facade? When Emily got home that night, she looked surprised to see me sitting in the living room, waiting for her. Her usual warm smile was replaced by a nervous frown. "I'm sorry I didn't text you back," she said, clearly trying to make light of the situation. "I didn't want to wake you. We were just talking, but I couldn't hold it in anymore." "I saw you," I said, my voice tight with frustration and hurt. "I saw you with him again, Emily. I saw you leave his place. Why didn't you tell me you were meeting him? Why did you lie to me?" Her eyes widened, and her face went pale. What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about." I pulled out my phone and showed her the app, the location, the proof that I wasn't imagining things. "I tracked you. I saw you with him, Emily. After everything we've been through, why are you still hiding this from me?" She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. For a moment, all I could hear was the deafening silence between us. I couldn't bring myself to look at her. I felt betrayed all over again, like every promise she made had been broken. I was just talking to him, she said finally, her voice shaky. We were talking about work stuff, just catching up. I didn't think you'd mind. Catching up? I repeated, disbelief filling me. After everything, you think this is okay? You're lying to me, Emily. And I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doubting every word you say. I'm not lying, she insisted, taking a step toward me. I swear, nothing happened. I swear. But I know I've already hurt you, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to make you trust me again. But I am trying. I swear I'm trying. The pain was too much. The weight of it, of everything that had happened, was unbearable. I could see she was genuinely upset, but how could I believe her anymore? How could I trust that she was truly trying if she was still hiding things from me? I don't know if I can trust you again, Emily, I whispered. I don't know if I can ever get past this. She collapsed into the chair, tears streaming down her face. Please, she begged, please don't give up on us. I know I've made mistakes, but I love you. I love our family. I want to fix this. I didn't know what to say. I felt numb. The doubt and betrayal had taken over, and I wasn't sure if I could ever come back from this. It's been a few days since the confrontation, and I'm still reeling. I can't stop thinking about what happened, about how much we've been through and how much we still have left to face. The last few weeks have felt like a roller coaster, full of ups and downs, hope and pain. But this new incident with T has brought back all the doubts I tried so hard to push away. I've been going to therapy, both with Emily and on my own. And I've had a lot of tough conversations with friends and family. Everyone keeps telling me that I have to decide whether this is something I can forgive, whether I can rebuild trust, or if I'm better off walking away. I spent a long time thinking about everything, what I want, what's best for me, and what's best for our kids. I've thought about how much I still love Emily, how much I want to believe that we can fix this, but I also thought about the toll this has taken on me. The constant doubt, the constant feeling that something is wrong. It's like I'm living in a shadow, always second-guessing every word, every action. I've come to a decision, but it's not an easy one. I told Emily that I needed more time. I need to figure out if I can forgive her, if I can rebuild this relationship. But I also told her that I wasn't sure anymore. I'm not ready to walk away yet, but I don't know how much more I can take. I need to see if we can rebuild trust, or if we're just going to keep going in circles.